with. I'm Johnny Yong Bosch. If you don't know who I am, I was Adam in Power Rangers. I was Ichigo in Bleach. Kaneda and Akira, Kiba and Wolf's Rain, Lelouch and Code Geass, Isaiah in there are other characters. Vash. Oh, hey, you know that one. Good. You guys familiar with Persona 4?
Yeah!
Okay. I am you.
And Adachi.
You. And I'm also Adachi. And Sasori, yes, in Naruto. Yukimura, yes. Guy in Tails. I'm also Emil in Tails.
I'm Emil.
Renton Thurston in Eureka 7. What? Yukio, Blue Exorcist. Oh, the new stuff. Okay, how about... Do you guys know Doraemon? Okay, so I'm Nobita in that. What was that?
Super Danganronpa.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Dangan or Dangan? Dangan. Okay, that Dangan game. I'm in that too. I'm Kitamura in Toradora. One person said yes, that's cool. Fate Zero, yes, I am in there. I'm Ryunosuke, and that the creepy weirdo guy. Nero and Devil May Cry 4. Zero and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Bumblebee. I'm getting bored just going through these characters. I'm like, shut up already. So anyways, that's... What did you say? Furion, yes, in Final Fantasy Dissidia. And some other stuff too. Oh, I'm Artemis, that's right, in Sailor Moon, the new.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Who watched Sailor Moon back originally? Yeah? Really? Awesome. Dude, you're a dude and you watched it. Yeah, right, cool.
I've been watching Sailor Moon Crystal.
Well, anyways, this is just me talking about different things. I can answer some questions. I can talk about Power Rangers or voiceover or video games. I could also just stand here. I could tell stories. I do have stories I can tell. I haven't been here to this con in a while. I was at, was it Colossal Con, right? Anime Midwest. But that's, how close is that to here? Not right? It's not. It's all there. But anybody have a question to get us started? Yeah. How did I get so awesome? I don't think I'm that awesome, actually. I got you all fooled. I do voice Johnny in Space Dandy. Was that part written for me? Of course.
It was basically a documentary of your life.
Exactly, right? Yes.
Who's your favorite character that you voice acted?
My favorite character that I voice acted for? Nero from Devil May Cry 4 would be maybe one of my most favorites. And the main reason is I wasn't locked to picture, you know, with... like, there's nothing wrong with Bleach or anything, but I'm tied into the picture. So if Ichigo is screaming and crying, I've got to do exactly that. But Devil May Cry 4, it was a script. So I got to make those choices. You know what I mean? So I got whatever emotion I wanted to do, or scream or yell, whatever. I got to make those choices, and then they created, you know, the character from that.
So why did they choose you for the anime when they did the anime?
But the anime was different. The anime was more, I think, earlier Dante character stuff. Nero comes much later in the series. And so, yeah. I also got to go to Japan and do the motion capture for that game, which was also really cool. That was my first time to go to Japan, actually, so it's kind of cool to go and work there and be in spandex again. Yes?
What was the most fun and most interesting part about playing Ryonosuke in Fate Zero?
What was the most fun and interesting part of being Ryonosuke in Fate? Well, you know what? I wouldn't call him fun. He's very disturbing, actually. What?
You got to ham it up.
Yeah, no, I did get to ham it up, but who has not seen that? Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to ruin it for any of you guys, but he's just he's a douchebag, but like more like, he's just creepy douchebag. Like if you saw him and you knew it was him, you'd want to kill him. You would. He's the kind of guy that you want to die. And the whole time I was playing the character, and you know from the show, like some of the stuff he does and just the dialogue, I had in my mind pretend like it was something else, you know, that he was doing, his art. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out or look it up, figure out what he's all about, and this will make sense. Thanks. I just pretended like it was art that I was doing, not anything else to children. There's a hint, I know, right? It's a little bit there. Yes.
Who would win, Adam Parker or Isaiah Orihara?
Adam Park or Isaiah?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Isaiah is smarter than Adam Park from Power Rangers. Adam, he was the quiet, shy guy. If it was like a fight, you know, I think maybe Adam would win. But Isaiah is good with a knife. But the Black Ranger also has a giant robot that can step on him, so I guess it depends on what kind of battle it is. Yes?
Are there any other characters that like you had issues with because they have such horrible motivations?
Any other characters I had issues with because...
They had like terrible motivations, like that one guy who
Terrible motivations? I mean, that was kind of it. Ryonosuke is probably the most disturbing character I've played. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else. Oh, there was, okay, what was it called? Dokuro-chan.
Oh God.
Okay, so, yeah, I'm the dude in that. And it was funny because when they approached me, they were like, so we want to talk to you about a show that we're doing. And I was like, okay. And so they brought me in the office. Like, so this show, it's not bad or anything, but there's some questionable things and want to know if you're going to be okay with it. I'm like, okay, well, like, what are you talking about? Well, and then just the way they're just kind of like hesitating and telling me, I was like, is it hentai? Because I don't want to do hentai. They're like, no, it's not hentai, but there are a couple things in there. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And then, well, there's a scene, not really even a scene, just pictures of bestiality and not full on. I mean, it fits within the story, I guess, somehow. And at one point, a giant octopus, you know, does things to him, and but all in good humor.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it is one of those things where they couldn't really describe it to me. I'm like, well, if it's not hentai, then I'll be all right. So as I was doing it, I was like, oh, this is what they were talking about. And it's not wall to wall, but there's just these couple things where they kind of cross that line, or makes you feel a little uncomfortable for laughing or thinking it was a good choice. And that's one you can check out, Dokuro-chan. Yes.
What's one character you wish you had done but didn't get the opportunity?
One character I wish I could have done? I don't know. Well, back in the day, I auditioned for every single Naruto character. I'm not lying. I went in, like, as soon as I saw that they were auditioning Naruto, I was like, oh, I gotta go in. So I called, I booked, you know, an audition session, and they had like 15 characters, and they said, yeah, just pick whichever ones you want to audition for. And I was like, I just took them all and went in, you know? And I auditioned for every single character that they had on the table. Not the girls, just, it was all males on this side. The girls' table was over there. And so after each one, the guy running the audition was like, great job. Oh, you nailed that one. That was perfect. Wow, that sounded just like him, you know? So I thought, out of the 15, I would get one, right? Didn't get any. And And then a few months go by, and then I get called in to audition for Bleach, and audition for a couple characters. Got Ichigo, and after maybe a year, they call me in to play like some random ninja that dies. I am in there like maybe 10 or 15 times, and I always die. The only character that lived that I play is Genma, but then he just vanishes at some point. He's got a stick in his mouth. And then Sasori kind of keeps coming back. But I am from every single village at some point, and I've died multiple times. But as I was working on it, Mary directs, and at some point, like when I'm in there, I was voicing Genma at the time. She's like, "Johnny, why didn't you audition for any of the main roles?" I was like, I did. I did.
They went with the narrator voice actor.
But it's just how it goes. Yes?
A couple of years ago at GoDaikoCon, somebody asked if you had seen Bleach the Musical.
Bleach the Musical, yes.
And that kind of, I had already asked the question, so I couldn't ask it then, but that kind of sparked something in my mind. Have you ever tried to sing in character?
Sing in character? Just for no reason?
For any reason.
Yeah, actually. If you go to our musical Q&A on Sunday, you can ask me a question about whatever, and I will sing back the answers half the time in those characters. I did sing as Vash, yeah, but that was for the show. It's a little different, though. I mean, I use my natural voice for majority of my characters, unless they're like super young. So I could easily say yes.
Do you ever play any of the games that you're in and think?
Do I play the games and think what?
Think like, oh wow, that I did a really good job.
As far as games are concerned, I've tried to play them, and I'm just terrible at games. So, I mean, I remember, and I've told this many times before, but I was playing Tails, right? Because I wanted to play a character guy. And I don't know anything about the game or the series, but I got it for free, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna play it. So I popped it in there, and I'm like, some other dude, and I'm like, oh man, when do I get to be me? And then I got to meet myself at some point. I was like, hey, there I am. It's like, cool. Like I said a couple things, and I left. I'm like, wait, I don't get to be me? I was like, so I gave up. I don't even think that's like past the first level. It's like somewhere in the middle of the first thing. Might be like right when you turn it on. I didn't get very far, and I did like for a while like play a lot of Kingdom Hearts. Like it took me like I got it for like I don't know what reason. I just like Disney characters, and I thought Disney and Final Fantasy, that's got to be sweet. And I thought I was doing really well, but I'm so bad at games, I didn't realize that you could, the health bar or whatever, I didn't realize you can make that bigger by training. And I was like, why can't I beat this boss, And I'm like, this is so stupid. And then I noticed after a while, I was like, wait, that thing's growing. And I was like, oh. And I already like spent like a month playing this game, and I'm like, Cheetos all over me, finger marks like, I was like, I gotta get outside and see sun. So I stopped playing games. I do play them on my iPad or iPhone. Yes. If I could meet any of the characters I've ever portrayed, who would it be? And what would I say? Of all of them? Who would I want to meet? That's weird. I've never thought, that is a great question. I've never thought about, because I feel like I've already met them. And some of them I'm just sick of. I would like to meet Ichigo and be like, so dude, do you like Rukia or Orihime? What's the deal? is your hair orange? That would be where I would start. Yes, in the back. I've heard of it. I have not seen it. That's all I can say to that.
What's your opinions on Isaiah Orihara?
Isaiah, I think he is an awesome douchebag. As soon as, like, when I went in for the audition, I read for a couple of characters, but that was one of the, like, 3 or 4 that I read for. And as I was auditioning him, I was like, this is the one I want to be. Just because he's just felt more fun, you know, and one that I think I would always remember. And I'm glad that it's a good show, because you never know when you work on a show if it's going to be good or not. There was a game I worked on a long time ago, Sword something. I don't even remember the name of it. But as I was working on it, I was like, dude, this is my best work. And I was like, this is the one that's going to be like, everybody's going to hear. And they only released it in the UK. So, yeah. And so apparently it was the worst game ever. And I was like, dang, it felt so good. Yes.
So back to the gaming question about how you wanted to play Guy. You never played Guy in the English version.
Don't play him?
You don't get to play him at all.
Oh, you don't?
No,
Oh.
only in the Japanese version you get to play him.
Are you serious?
I'm totally serious.
In the Japanese, the same game?
Yeah.
But you can play him in the Japanese, but not in the...
Yeah.
What? Why is that? It's terrible.
Because
It's a
no extra
terrible
work for you.
idea. Come on.
I've actually played Guy on that's way back in PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2?
Yes.
Was I around? Was I around when PlayStation 2 was out?
Yes.
Wow. That's crazy, actually. Yes.
Have you ever worn your pajamas in the recording room?
Yes. It is. It's much more comfortable. But I sleep in my jeans. No, I actually do sometimes if I'm really tired. But a lot of times it's just... and then there's a producer for the show that was there. And then at the end they're like, oh, so we wanted to take some pictures for you to send back to Japan. I was like, what? They look like a bum. And they're like, it's okay.
It's okay, it's okay, it's
Oh,
okay.
okay. And so I saw them all over the internet. I was like, that's great. It's awesome.
Cheeto stains.
Yes. Out of all the roles, what were the most difficult? Renton, Thurston, in Utica 7 was a difficult one because they just wanted me to pitch him up as high as possible. And I was like, I'm going to lose my emotional range at that point. Lelouch was a tough one at first. More so because the mentality, you know, it's a little different, you know. The Japanese wanted it to be Phantom of the Opera, you know, really melodramatic when he's Zero and being evil or whatever. And for me, evil isn't really like, I'm going to kill you, you know, it doesn't feel natural to me. I think I'd more be like, hey, come here, I got something to tell you, and then I'd stab you. But it got more into that range towards the second season. But so those are two right there that were a little bit tough. Kiba from Wolf's Rain, I wouldn't say it was tough, but it was kind of scary because I had done Trigun, you know, it's just a goofy, off-the-wall kind of character, and then I had to do like a really cool character, you know. And ever since I was a little kid, I'll tell you the story. I was outside the front when I was little. I was maybe 14 or whatever, throwing the football with my friend. And across the street, there's this punk kid. I mean, he was just a punk, and he was like maybe 6 or 7 or whatever. And he was just a jerk. I know he went to prison much later, but I'm not even joking. But like, he was just a little douchebag. And he came outside, we're throwing the ball, you know, just having a good time. And he starts throwing rocks at us. And I was like, dude, what the? And then he runs inside, and we're like, what the heck was that about? Fucking crazy kid. And then his sister comes out and starts yelling at us. Why you start fighting, throwing stuff at my brother? I was like, I didn't do anything. We're just throwing the football around. He came out here and threw rocks at us. And that's kind of how I was like, yeah, right? And she's like, you sound like a girl. And went back inside. And for the longest time, I became super shy. I stopped talking because I thought I sounded like a girl. And And when I got, Vash and Trigun, I remember thinking like, oh man, am I gonna sound like a girl this whole time? And then so when I had to voice Kiba in Wolfsrain, it was hard because he was a cooler character and sounded cooler, And bless you, by the way. And so I was like afraid, like, am I gonna sound like a girl? It was just always in the back of my head. I do a terrible girl voice, by the way. So. You want to hear it? I voiced a girl once, and it was actually in Trigun, and I don't remember the dialogue exactly. It was because she was like behind the door, and I was like, was it like an old lady? Because maybe I could do that. And here it is. Hello. That's about it. Is everything all right there? That's it. It's kind of like a really terrible. I don't even know. But that's the best I could do.
Sounds like that old British maid.
No, right? It's like kind of like a really terrible Monty Python character. Hello! Mrs. Doubtfire? Yeah. That might be where my motivation came from. Yes. Acting or voiceover? Kind of, they're both acting, I guess. You mean like on camera or not? Well, the nice thing about voice acting is that I don't have to be a half Asian. There wouldn't be a whole lot of roles for me. Whereas in on-camera stuff, it's, I'm this dude right here. And then if they're not looking for a half Asian, or if they're looking for somebody who, maybe he's Indian. He's Asian. He's got to be a Yakuza. I played a Yakuza guy in True Blood. I don't know if you saw me. Just did stunts. I got choked. I drew my sword and did a fight scene. But yeah, so I get more work. There's more work for me in voiceover than on camera. It's actually kind of how I got into voiceover. Yes.